Hello students. So today we are moving into a new chapter, Cell, the Unit of Life. So this chapter I have already covered in class 9 but not that in detail. This time we are going to learn in more detail regarding the cell and all its parts. What is the difference between a prokaryotic cell, what is the difference between an eukaryotic cell, how does a plant cell look, how does an animal cell look, what are the different cell organelles, all its functions. That is what we are going to discuss in this chapter, Cell, the Unit of Life. Moving on to what is a cell. If someone asks you what is a cell, you can easily say what it is. Cell is a structural and functional unit of life. Like bricks are the building blocks of a building. Now when you are seeing our body and organisms, especially when it comes for multicellular organisms, these cells are like bricks. They are acting like bricks, giving a framework, giving a structure. Okay, and all the functions which are carried out by an organism is the outcome of a cellular activities. That's why what is a cell? Cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. So it is a fundamental structural as well as fundamental functional unit of life. Okay. Now, who first observed a living cell? It was observed by Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Okay, Anton van Leeuwenhoek was the scientist who first observed a living cell. Now, Robert Brown is the one who discovered the nucleus. Robert who discovered cell, Robert Brown discovered nucleus. These basic concepts you already have, just a recollection of the same. Okay. Now moving on to the next part is your cell theory. So what does a cell theory refers to? Cell theory means some conclusion drawn about the cells. Okay. So there were two scientists, one is Matthias Claden and another one is Theodor Swan. These two scientists, Matthias Claden was a botanist and Theodor Swan was a zoologist. Botanist, you know, they are the one who studies about plants, and Swan is one who studies about animals. Okay, so these two person has found out that Claden found out that all plants are made up of cells, and Swan, when he studied, he found out that all animals are made up of cells. So they said that all living organisms are made up of cells. Okay, and cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. That was the conclusion drawn by these two scientists. Now, in order to make it more clear, they didn't discover the same, but another one scientist have put forth one more point, postulates, we can say the other postulates. Okay, so one more postulate which was given is that it was given by a scientist, Rudolf Karl Virchow. Okay, so this Rudolf Karl Virchow, what did he say is that he proved that each cell is coming from pre-existing cells. Already some cell should be there. From there only you can find a new cell is arising. Like for example, zygote is formed because of there is a fusion between two cells, isn't it? Thereafter the zygote is formed. This zygote is dividing into two. So one cell is already there. From there only the two new cells are coming. Again they are dividing into 4. Okay. So like that you can find all new cells are coming from the pre-existing cells. So that was the conclusion which was drawn by whom? Rudolf Karl Virchow. So as a result, cell theory, what does it state? What are the different postulates of cell theory? When you are seeing, cell is the basic structural unit of life, cell is the basic functional unit of life, all cells comes from pre-existing cells. So these are the three main postulates put forth in during the discovery of the cells. Okay, later many points were included which is not that important now. Okay, he modified the hypothesis, that is Karl Virchow modified the hypothesis of Claden and Swan to give the cell theory a final shape. What is the cell theory saying? All organisms are composed of cells and products of cells. Whatever organism you see, they are made up of cells, and the things which are being carried out by the organisms are all products of the cells. Cells are making enzymes, cells are making hormones, cells is carrying out the functions. Okay, so all the products of the cells are playing a major role in carrying out the functions, right? Now the next point is what? All cells comes from pre-existing cells. So these are the conclusion which was drawn by these three scientists regarding cell and was put forth as what? Cell theory. Now you can find the cells are having different structures, right? So cells are having different structures. Why? That is a very important question. Cells can be same. So whenever I am drawing a cell, plant cell, I have to draw it like this, and animal cell I have to draw it like this. But no, you can find the cells are having different structure. Why do the cells have different structure? The answer is the cells are having different structures in order to do different sort of works. Okay, so based on their functions, the cells have different structures. Like for example, you see we are taking red blood cells. So first one, what we are taking? We are taking red blood cells, red blood corpuscles. These red blood corpuscles are not totally spherical. They are not spherical in nature. Why? Because you see their corpuscles, this is a blood vessel, capillary. Okay, capillaries are very minute tubes, isn't it? So if it is circular in nature, then what will happen? The red blood cells, they will be getting stuck. When they are moving, they will be getting stuck in those places because of the spherical shape. But they need to move there, isn't it? So in order to accommodate these function, that is transports of substances. Now when you see what is the shape of the red blood cells, the shape of the red blood cells is biconcave. How the shape is? It is somewhat biconcave in nature. Biconcave means what? Both the sides you can find a concave structure like this. Okay, so this is the shape of what? Your red blood corpuscle, so that they can easily move inside the blood vessels. Okay, and now when you are seeing this nerve cell, for example, if I take, what is the function of these nerve cells? The nerve cells are having a structure like they are branched, they are long, isn't it? So they are branched with the dendrites and they are long with an axon. Why can't be they small like a small single unicellular cell? The answer is, so something is being pricked in your legs. The message should go to the brain and the brain should respond immediately to take away the thing which has pricked, isn't it? Maybe a thorn. You are touching a hot body. The stimulus should immediately pass to the brain so that you will take away the hot body, take away your hand, isn't it? So here what is to be done? The messages has to be passed very fast. In that case, if you are having cells which are smaller, spherical, from one cell to another message will be passed from another, like this, it has to reach the brain. So how many cells should be there in between to reach the brain? But it will take a lot of time. In order to prevent that one, you can find the nervous tissue is having what? Nerve cells, and they are highly branched to receive the stimulus, as well as, and they are long, so that the conduction of stimulus will take place very fast. Okay, so from one neuron to another neuron, the conduction is taking place very fast because they are branched and they are very long. So from here you can easily conclude that cells are having shapes based on their functions. Cells are specialized to adopt different shapes based on their functions. So like that you can find different cells. Tracheids are helping in conduction of water, columnar epithelial cells are playing a major role in absorption and secretions, white blood cells are not having a particular shape in order to carry out what? The defense mechanism. Germs, when they are coming, amoeboid movement, they go engulf the germ and kill it. Okay, so like that you can find different cells are having what? Different functions. So and they are having different shapes. Okay, so this is regarding your one question which is usually asked is that cells, why do cells have different structures? What is the intention of the same? Okay, or cells are having structures based on their function. Comment with giving an example. In that case you can take it out either the red blood corpuscles or the nerve cells for your explanation, which is which I have already told you. Okay, so this is regarding your cells are having different shapes based on their functions. Now cells are of two types, we have already learned, isn't it? So what are the two types of cells? One is prokaryotic cell and another one is eukaryotic cells, isn't it? So prokaryotic cells, what do you mean by the term prokaryotes? Prokaryotes are organisms which are having cells in that there is no membrane bound cell organelles, like they do not have Golgi apparatus, they do not have endoplasmic reticulum, they do not have chloroplast, they do not have mitochondria. So these are absent in where? In prokaryotic organism, primitive cells. Okay, and eukaryotic, they are having all these membrane bound cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, chloroplast, everything is present in them. Okay. So, that is one characteristics. The second characteristics is that nuclear membrane is absent where? In the prokaryotic cells, you cannot find a nuclear membrane. Somewhere in the center of the cells, you can find the DNA is present. The nuclear membrane is absent in case of what? Prokaryotic cell. But in eukaryotic cells, you can find what? Nuclear membrane is present. Inside that only the DNA will be present. So, that is the difference between what? Prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Other than that, you do have many differences, which one by one we are going to list out. First, we are going to discuss in detail about prokaryotic cell. Example, bacterial cell, which diagram you may have already discussed in biological classification chapter number 2, bacterial cell. Okay. Now, moving into the prokaryotic cell, listen carefully. The prokaryotic cells are represented by bacteria, prokaryotic, blue-green algae, that is cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, pleuropneumonia like organisms. These all we have already discussed where in living in second chapter biological classification. They are generally smaller. I told you prokaryotic cells are very small and they multiply more faster compared to eukaryotic cells. That is number one. And their shapes and sizes vary from organisms to organism. The bacteria doesn't look like cyanobacteria, doesn't look like mycoplasma, doesn't look like pleuropneumonia like organism. You can find there is much amount of variation from organism to organism. The size and the shape of the cells varies, right? And basic types of the bacterial cells we have discussed already. What are the four basic types? One is bacillus, that is rod like, coccus, which is spiral, vibrio, which is comma, and spirillum is somewhat spiral in nature, isn't it? So, bacillus is rod, coccus spherical, your vibrio is comma, and spirillum is spiral. So, the diagram we have discussed, coccus is round, thereafter coccobacillus means what? Somewhat round, at the same time they are somewhat like oval with an extension, rod like. Vibrio is comma shaped and bacillus is rod shaped, and spirillum, spirochete, all are what? Means they are having a spiral shaped. Okay. So, these are the different shapes of bacteria. They are having different shapes, based on that they are having different names and different functions, right. Now, we are seeing a rod shaped bacterium, bacillus. Now, when you are looking into the structure of a rod shaped bacterium, the bacterial structure you have to practice, you need to draw in your notebook. In case if you have already drawn in biological classification, it's fine, otherwise you have to draw it now. Okay. Now, bacterial cell, one by one we will discuss. First, when you are seeing, all prokaryotes have a cell wall. What is present in them? They have a cell wall. Okay. Just I am noting down, you find out where the cell wall is. All prokaryotes are having what? They are having a cell wall, and they do not have a well defined nucleus. You can find any nuclear with the nuclear membrane? No, it is absent. They do not have a well defined nucleus. Okay. Next, in addition, so somewhere the nuclear material will be present here. You can find the nuclear material is present over here, right? So, the DNA is present like this with the scattered thing. What you can find is what? The DNA, the brown one, right? Now, you can find one extra chromosomal DNA is present in bacterial cell. What is an extra chromosomal DNA? You can find this round structures, right? Here one round, here one round, here one round. This round structure, extra chromosomal circular DNA, we call it as plasmid. What do we call them? We call it as plasmid. This plasmid is playing a major role in biotechnology. Next year you will be learning the role of plasmid. So, plasmid is used as a vector in biotechnology. That one you will be learning. So, what is a plasmid? It is an extra chromosomal DNA which is found in bacterial cells. Usually prokaryotic cells, you can find what? An extra chromosomal DNA. Now, we call it as what? The plasmid. It's not plastid, it is plasmid, M-I-D. Okay. Plasmid, small circular DNA outside the genomic DNA. So, this is the genomic. The brown color, this one is the genomic DNA, and the extra chromosomal DNA is the round one. Okay. The plasmid confers certain unique phenotypic characters. What is phenotypic characters? External characters. The characters which we can observe when we are viewing it under the microscope. We can observe some of the characters. Okay, what is my phenotypic character? Whether I am tall, whether I am short, what are this purple of color of my eyes, what is my complexion, all what you can see from outside is the phenotypic. Genotypic means within my gene what is present, okay, which cannot be represented. You have to, just by seeing you cannot say the character within me, isn't it, how I am, whether I am good or whether I am bad. So I may look beautiful, but I don't know whether I am character wise beautiful or not. So that is a genotypic character which you cannot see from outside, it is present within you, okay. So that is some diabetic I may be or may not be, all these things what we depend, it depends upon the gene, okay. So that is genotypic character. So phenotypic means what, the character which we can observe. Some of the character that we can observe is present where, some of the character that bacteria observe is present where, it can be present in plasmid, that is the extra chromosomal DNA, okay. And I told you they do not have a membrane bound cell organelles, they do not have mitochondria, they do not have endoplasmic reticulum, they do not have Golgi bodies. So these are the characteristic features of prokaryotic cells. Now next characteristic feature is that when you are seeing the bacterial cells are having some structures, okay. Some cell membrane is forming some structures. These infoldings of the cell membranes are forming structures called as mesosomes. What do we call them? We call it as mesosomes, okay. So the cell membrane, the plasma membrane, when you are seeing, they are folding inwards and forming structures called as mesosomes. This mesosome can be like vesicles. Vesicle means what? Round. It can be like tubules. Tubules means what? They will be like a tube, okay. It can be like lamellae. Lamellae is what? Some straight lines, okay. So like that it can be, it depends whether the mesosome can be vesicle type, it can be like a tube, it can be like a line, okay. So it depends how the infolding is, how the thing is getting enfolded. It can get enfolded like this, like if it is the inner folding is like this, then we call it as what? The vesicle. If the inner folding is like this, then we call it as the tubule. If the inner folding is like a line, then we call it as the lamellae, okay. So what is the function of this mesosomes? When you see this mesosome, they are increasing the surface area. First, what is they are doing? So imagine this is the plasma membrane, okay. If it is just like that, it's fine. But when the plasma membrane is having like these structures, what is happening to the plasma membrane? You can find the plasma membrane surface. The surface is there now. The surface which they are exposed to, it is becoming more. When the surface is becoming more, the plasma membrane is responsible for secreting many substances which are needed for carrying out various activities in the bacterial cell, like respiration, okay, secretion of some enzymes, digestion, all these for forming cell walls, the proteins which are being made by them, okay, the cellulosic substances which are made by them, all these things when you are seeing, it is being carried out by whom? This plasma membrane mesosomes are playing a major role. Why? When the surface area increases, the production of these substances also increases and they help in making these substances more faster, okay. So that is the role of what? This mesosomes. So mesosomes we will read out. Specialized differentiated form of cell membrane called mesosomes. They are infoldings of the cell membrane, okay. And the extensions can be like vesicle or tubules or lamellae. They help in cell wall formation, they help in DNA replication, they help in respiration, okay. Thereafter, DNA replication means what? You can find one DNA is present. Now the bacteria is going to divide and form how many? 2. So this one DNA has to be converted into how many DNAs now? 2 DNAs, right? So for formation of the same, things which has been needed for the DNA to replicate, the protein, the nucleic acid, all these things are synthesized by whom? This mesosomes. They are playing a major role, okay. As well as they increases the surface area of the plasma membrane and all the enzymatic activities, whatever functions are carried out by the enzymes like your digestion, excretion, absorption, all these functions are carried out by specific enzymes present in them. For when the mesosomes are present, the enzymatic activity will be more, okay. So these are the functions of what? These mesosomes, right. So this is regarding a eukaryotic cell, a typical eukaryotic cells. Before that we will move on to this cell envelope and its modification. So prokaryotic cells, when you are seeing, they are having different coverings. Okay, so 3 coverings are present. How many coverings are present? 3 coverings are present. Okay. Now, bacterial cell, it's somewhat complex. The coverings are, it is having, see, outermost glycocalyx, then you can find a cell wall, and then you can find what? The plasma membrane. You can look into the diagram here, the bacterial cell. You can find the outermost one, capsule, like that one black color thing you can find, right? So that one we call it as the glycocalyx. What do we call them? Glycocalyx. Thereafter you can find the yellow color part, right? That yellow part is your cell wall. What it is? Cell wall. Then you can find ash covering, isn't it? So that is your cell membrane or plasma membrane, right? So cell membrane can be called as plasma membrane, can also be called as selectively permeable membrane. It can also be called as semi-permeable membrane. All are the name of what? The cell membranes. So 3 coverings are present in case of your bacterial cell. So what are they? One is the glycocalyx, second one is your cell membrane, and third one is your cell wall, and then is your cell membrane, right? So this glycocalyx, when you are seeing, it's the outermost covering. Outermost covering is what? The glycocalyx. Thereafter inner to it is cell wall, inner to it is the plasma membrane. Now bacteria, when you are seeing, it can be classified into 2 groups based on why they are taking stain or not taking stain. Like stain, you know, some dye which I am applying. Like for example, I am going to apply a dye crystal violet. What is the dye? Crystal violet. Okay. So crystal violet is a dye which I am going to apply over the bacteria. So here many bacteria are there. I am applying the stain. Okay. This, when I am applying the stain, if the bacteria is taking the stain and it is turning that violet. Okay. So in that case we call it as gram positive. What do we call them? Gram positive. So when I am applying a stain, if the bacteria is taking the stain and changing its color, then we call it as what? Gram positive. Some bacteria, when you are seeing, they do not take the stain. If at all I apply the stain, that bacteria, they do not take the stain. The stain is not going to affect them in any way. Okay, they are not getting attached to that dye. That we call it as what? Gram negative. So based on staining properties, there are 2 types of bacteria. One is gram positive, which takes up the crystal violet stain, and one is gram negative, which do not take up the crystal violet stain, right? Now this glycocalyx. What is glycocalyx? I told you bacteria is made up of glycocalyx. Thereafter you can find cell wall, then you can find what? The cell membrane. This glycocalyx, when you are seeing the outermost covering, is having some special role. It can be of 2 types. Okay, one is your loose sheath like, somewhat slimy like, sticky like outer covering. So that one we call it as slime layer. What do we call them? Slime layer. Usually this is the case. But when the temperature is too high or too low, when the condition is more unfavorable, you can find the bacteria will have the covering which is capsule. Capsule means what? It's very thick, tough, hard covering. The outer covering, what we call it as what? The capsule. So some of the bacteria have slime layer and some of the bacteria have capsule. Mostly bacteria have slime layer, and the bacteria which can resist very high temperature and low temperature and all, when you see, they are resisting because they are having a very tough outer covering. This tough outer covering will not get dissolved or will not get affected by the unfavorable condition. So even if you are heating the water also, sometimes what happens is that your water is not that means healthy, we can say. Why? Because you can find this, if these bacteria are having capsules in them, they are not getting affected by the boiling temperature 100 degrees Celsius. That's why the bacteria are present in the volcano also, that's what they say, right? So capsule is a very thick, hard covering which is present. So glycocalyx is of 2 types. If it is slimy, sticky covering, then we call it as what? The slime layer. The other one is your capsule. Now next is your cell wall. Cell wall, you know, it determines the shape of the cell. The cell wall is hard and they determine the shape of the cells. They are forming the structure, as well as they are helping that the cell is not breaking. So if the water is taken, what they can do? They can become big, isn't it? So they can become what? Swell up, and instead of bursting, the cell wall is preventing giving a pressure so that the cell is not getting burst. Okay, so that is the role of what? The cell wall protection. Next is your plasma membrane, semi-permeable membrane, and mostly they are like the eukaryotic cells only. They are producing many enzymes which is helping in carrying out various activities. So you can find here there are 3 types of external projections coming out from the bacterial cell. Okay, one is the pilus, second one is the flagella, and third one is the fimbriae. Fimbriae you can find small hair like projections coming out, we call it as what? The fimbriae. Thereafter a big tongue which is coming out, which projection we call it as the flagella, and you can find here some tube like structure which is coming out, we call it as the pilus. Now what is the function of these 3 things when you are seeing? Flagella, you know, they are helping in movement. Okay, so flagella, when you are seeing this is the bacteria, they are having flagella. The flagella moves like this, like this, like this, so that the bacteria also moves. So that is the role of what? This flagella. Fimbriae, when you are seeing, what is they doing? They are helping in attachment. So some places they have to get attached, means this fimbriae is helping, having adhesive property. They are helping in attaching the bacterium to that substratum or to that place. And what is the role of the sex pillars when you are saying? As the name suggests itself, sex pillars. So they are helping in reproduction. So 2 bacteria, okay, they come when they are undergoing conjugation. What will be that reproduction we call? Conjugation, sexual reproduction. Okay, so this sex pili of this, another bacteria is here, sex pili of this, both will come in contact. Okay, some of the DNA from here will be moving here, some of the DNA will from here will be moving. They all will reunite here, and there will be exchange of the genetic material. Thereafter this will break, then some of the DNA from here will be moving into this side, and some of the DNA from here will be moving into this side. Now I am getting 2 bacteria which were not previous, they are having some new informations because it is a combination of these 2. So this bacteria is somewhat different from the original bacteria. Okay, so this is sexual reproduction. The sexual reproduction is taking place with the help of what? The sex pillars. Much in detail conjugation in higher class you will learn. Now as of now you should know that bacteria, when you are seeing, they are having 3 structures. One is your flagella, right? Second one is your pili, and third one is your fimbriae, right? And pili, what they are doing? They are tubular structures producing special protein. They are helping in conjugation. What is conjugation? Sexual reproduction. And fimbriae, what they are doing? They are fiber like proteins coming out, attach the bacteria to rocks in the streams or any host tissue for attachment. Okay, so they are helping in specially what? In attachment. And flagellum is the one which is helping in what? Movement. Now when you are seeing this flagella, flagella is divided into 3 parts. So what are the 3 parts of this flagella? One is filament, hook, and basal body. You can find filament, hook, and basal body. So this is the basal body. So this part we call it as what? The basal body. Okay, so this is the basal body where the base of the flagella is attached to the plasma membrane. That one we call it as what? The basal body. Thereafter you can find a hook like structure, isn't it? So this part we call it as hook. What do we call them? Hook. Okay, thereafter you can find the lengthy part. That one we call it as what? We call them as flagellum. So what are the 3 parts of flagella? One is the basal body, to which the plasma membrane is attached. Sorry, the basal body, the flagella is attached to the plasma membrane with the help of basal body. Thereafter you can find hook, and then it is the filament, right? So this is the structure of what? This plasma flagellum, right? So that we have already covered. Now we are moving on to cell wall. Okay, so this we will be discussing in the next class. Hope so it's clear. Today we have covered mostly the prokaryotic cell. The cell wall we will be discussing a part of the thing in the next class, and one more class is needed. So 3 classes are needed for completing the portions. Hope it's clear. Thank you.